Okay, so my name is Eric Ofori, and I'm a geomatic engineer. I'm into land surveying.
Okay, yeah. I see. Yeah, so Eric, welcome to this channel. I'm
Thank
really
you.
glad you're able to make this video. I've had a lot of questions. I'd wanted you to answer them. So today, I hope you're able to answer all of them. Now, it has to do with purchasing or acquisition of land in Ghana. So let's start with, if one is interested in getting a land, what should a person do before even go ahead to make payment and the rest?
Okay, so I think before you decide to purchase any land, you have to ask a lot of questions from the one who is selling the land. First of all, you have to know the type of land you are buying, meaning either it be a stool land or a vested or government land, or probably a family or private land. You have to ask, because that will give you a lot of information as to what to do after you've made the purchase. So you ask those questions first, and you get a surveyor to get a site plan for you to use that for a search. Sometimes they would offer you their own site plan, but I always say it is better you get your own site plan so you know the kind of land or the position of land you are working with. Because sometimes they will give you a site plan which may not be representative of the land they are selling to you. So you do a search, all right, the results that will come will be okay. You make the purchase, then later you find out the land you are giving the site plan to is not the land they are selling to you.
I see.
Yeah.
So it means that the first thing one has to do is getting like a site plan.
Sure.
And then based on that, conduct a search with that. So it means that before one tries to even acquire any land, they have to get involved the service of a surveyor.
A surveyor.
Is it just any surveyor, or what kind of surveyor?
Okay, so currently there are a lot of quacks surveyors around, and they may not have the ample knowledge to actually advise you on certain things you are supposed to do. So make sure the surveyor you are dealing with is actually a surveyor, not someone who just followed the surveyor and is proclaiming to be one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the first thing you said is not to rely on the site plan from whoever is selling the land.
Sure.
You create your own site plan.
Sure.
And you conduct a search.
A search.
So where do you conduct the search?
So with a search, every region has a lands commission office in it. So let's say you are buying the land in Greater Accra, you conduct a search with the Accra Lands Commission. If it is Takoradi, you get there, and if it is Koforidua, so mostly they are located in the capital towns of the region. So you conduct your search with the Lands Commission.
Okay.
Yeah, so that is one. The next thing you should also try to do is also conduct a layout search. If it is a place which already has a layout, you should make sure you conduct that search. That will tell you whether the land they are selling to you is not in any roadway or any highway or any part which is not supposed to be sold. You make sure that is also done. If the place has a layout, then you do a layout search.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So who then conducts the search at the Lands Commission? Is it the surveyor or the individual? Okay,
so when you get your site plan, you get to the Lands Commission. Normally you need 2 copies of the site plan. Then there is a department called Records. They are in charge of doing the search. So they will do an official search for you.
Okay, so it means an individual can walk in there
and
a request for a search to be done, not necessarily a surveyor.
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But your surveyor can also do it instead for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see. And it comes at a fee, I suppose?
Sure, it comes at a fee.
Okay.
And depending on the region you are conducting your search, it may differ a bit.
Okay.
Yeah, so there is no standard cut across cost for that.
Okay, so now let's assume you've done that, we conducted a search, and then the search report or result is out. What are some of the scenarios or examples of search results? What are some of the things that we are likely to see? Okay,
so one of the results you are likely to see is sometimes they will tell you the land is free or has no record of any transaction. 2, the land is not a state land. 3, the land is not acquired for any state purposes, be it school or whatever. They will give you that from the Lands Commission. So those are some of the scenarios you get. Sometimes the land, they will tell you the land has been registered. So if the land has been registered, sometimes there are successions to that from the allodial owner, which is the rightful owner, let me put it that way, to people who have bought it along the line, probably to you. So you should make sure the successions will follow. And the one currently holding the land is the one you are dealing with if the land is registered.
Okay. So let me just link this to, so let's say you purchase a second used car, a Ghanaian registered car. It has already been registered, so you do transfer of ownership. So if it means that the car has been like purchased by different people and then transfer of ownership has been done, you see all the history of that.
See the history.
So basically, that is what the search
will give you.
Okay, it gives you a history of what the land has gone through. Is it all lands that you are keen to get some like this information on?
Okay, so if the land is registered, you are supposed to get those results. If the land is not registered, they would only tell you the land is free.
It's not a state land.
It's not a state land. It's not acquired for any state purposes. Those scenarios can come in.
Are there still lands in Ghana that haven't been registered at all?
A lot.
Okay.
I would probably estimate that less than 30 or 40% of lands in Ghana are registered.
Oh.
So a chunk of it is not registered.
I see. So in a scenario where the land is not registered, how then should one proceed?
Okay, so in a scenario where you do the search and they tell you it is free land, no one has registered it, mostly it's a bit difficult buying such land because it opens it up to a lot of ambiguities. You actually don't know the one you are dealing with. That is why most people would prefer to buy registered land. So in case you meet a land which is not registered and you're still interested in it and you want to buy, now most of the search will be on the ground basis.
Okay.
You make sure wherever the land is located, you get any opinion leader in that locality, be the assemblyman, a district, a committee member, a chief in that area, those people. And the neighbors around the land, you're supposed to talk to them to make sure that the one who is selling the land to you is actually the one who owns the land. Yeah.
Okay. Well, but is it really certain that getting all these people would even tell you that like the person selling to you is the rightful owner? Okay,
so even with that, I think I've come across such a land before. It wasn't registered, and the client was really interested, and in a way they were pushing us too much, like in a pressure for us to make payments. So from the beginning of it, I wasn't quite okay with the processes and how hasty it is. So what happened, there was an uncle of the one wanting to buy the land said, oh, he's gone into that area and he's asked of the land, and they are saying, oh, the land is for the person. Finally, when we made payment and we were about to go do the survey, we were told the land is actually not theirs.
Okay.
Even though we had already done a search, because it wasn't registered.
Okay.
We were told the land is not the one who is selling it. So we had to find a way to recoup our money. And in doing that, it was a whole lot. Okay. So when the land is not registered, it gives a lot of ambiguity. Like working with such lands is a bit difficult. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Now my next question would be, so let's say there's this period where there are a lot of real estate companies that are into sales of lands to people. Now, based on recent search that we conducted, where it came out that so we saw the history of the land, and then the name as to the last person owning the land didn't match or tally with whoever was selling, or the real estate company that was selling the land. In such situation, like, what should one do about it?
In such situations, personally, it should be a no-go area for me, because if you tell me you own a land, you've demarcated it, and I do a search and you don't have your name on it, as a business person investing into lands, then it's quite a way dealing with such people, because now what they may tell you is, oh, when you do the indenture, we will send it to the rightful owner for the person to sign it. Most of the times, you finish with the document, you hand it over to them, and they would have to go and do the sign. As to whoever actually signs, you are not sure. you are actually not sure because you don't get to meet the person who bears that name. So if they go somewhere, append any signature, how do you actually verify that the rightful owner is the one who signs it?
So how do you, so let's say in a situation where you get to be part of the signing of the document, how do you validate or authenticate that whoever is signing is actually the rightful owner?
So one advice I give to most of my clients is you should make sure the name you are giving, the person who bears that name brings any ID, be it a voter, Ghana card or whatever, to make sure that he is the rightful person to append the signature. Because within the land industry, there are a lot of dubious means. People can just forge signatures and do whatever they want.
So it is actually not proper for the real estate, some of these real estate companies to take the documents back and say they are going to have it signed, and then after that return them to you.
Actually, per our laws in Ghana, the signing has to be done in front of the registrar of courts.
Okay.
But sometimes most of the things we do, we tend to actually do it anyhow.
Yeah.
Because if you bear a name and you're giving me that name for indenture, you should show something that actually tells you the name that I used is actually yours. We encountered such a situation where a client of mine bought about 40 acres of land, and from the beginning I was kind of skeptical about how these people were going about their own operations. So a name was given for us to use for the indenture, and I told my client he should make sure they don't give the document to them to sign, but they should produce whoever bears that name, and the person should come with an ID card. And that was the end of the deal.
It never happened?
Yes, but they couldn't produce the one who bears that name.
Okay.
Yeah. So it will be prudent that after your indenture, it should be signed before you shouldn't actually hand the document for them to sign, because a lot can happen within that space.
Yeah, I see. Well, okay. Now, let's assume that we've conducted a search. It's in the rightful person's, like the person you're dealing with, name. What then would be the next step to...
Okay, so I think from the beginning I mentioned of another search which we conduct when the place has a layout. So that search also has to be done with the municipal assembly or district assembly in that area. And they would actually confirm the position and shape on their layout, because most of them, they have a base map which they use for that. So if you conduct a search with the Lands Commission and everything is okay, it doesn't mean that with the town and country planning too, it will be same.
Okay.
Because recently I was working for one Presbyterian church in Koforidua, and there was such situation. We conducted a search with the Lands Commission, it was okay. But when we did the layout search, the land was actually in the highway.
Oh.
So you buy such land, it might even be difficult for you to register it, or to even get a permit for any development you want, because where the land is positioned shouldn't be there.
I see.
So after the layout search has been done and you are okay with the results, the next thing for you to do is to make part payment. I always tell my clients you are not supposed to pay outright for any land you are buying.
Okay.
So first of all, you see the land, you are interested in it, you send a surveyor, they do a survey, give you a site plan for a search, and you are okay with whatever results you get. You make part payment. Mostly I recommend up to a 60%
okay.
part payment, and you use that period after the part payment to make sure your document is done.
Okay.
So after the document is done, you send it for signing, then you complete it.
So documents in this scenario is the site plan and then the indenture?
Yeah, what we call the cadastral plan and the indenture. So that will give you a cadastral document.
Okay. So what is the difference between a cadastral plan and then a site plan?
So a site plan is a plan of land which shows the shape. You have the size on it, you may have the location, district, whatever. But it's not signed by a licensed surveyor, a regional surveyor, and probably barcoded.
Okay.
So it has to go through all these processes before it becomes cadastral plan.
Okay.
Yeah, currently most of the regions have adopted the barcoding system
Okay.
to actually identify each parcel of land,
Okay.
so that there is no conflicting two parcels of land.
Okay.
That is the basis of the barcode or the regional number. There shouldn't be any two parcels of land that coincide or conflict, have the same regional number.
I see.
It shouldn't happen. Yeah.
Okay. So talking about conducting having a surveyor involved, conducting a site search and all those things,
Mm-hmm.
how much time frame are we talking about?
Okay, so it also depends on the region you are working in, and of course, on a normal day for Eastern region, let's say Koforidua, I think 6 weeks maximum, your document should be ready.
What document are you talking
The
about?
cadastral document.
Okay.
But concerning the site plan, we could come do the picking today, and your site plan should be ready tomorrow, so that you use that for the search you want to conduct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it means that the site plan is done by the surveyor.
Surveyor.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that can be used to conduct the search at the Lands Commission
and the town and country.
And how long does it usually take for site search reports or results to come out?
Okay, so when you get to the Lands Commissions too, that will also differ depending on the region. Because most of the regions have a lot of work to do. So Accra, you should be expecting up to 2-3 weeks. You should be ready. Koforidua, maximum 2 weeks. You should get your search results.
Okay.
After you've made payment.
Okay, but the search results also, I think earlier when we were having a conversation, you said it has to be signed.
Sure.
Is it a director or who?
That is a lands officer.
Okay.
Yeah,
that shows that it is legitimate search results.
Yeah.
So it means people can actually produce fake.
Sure. People can actually produce fake
search results.
Yeah. So it has to be signed. So if anything, it has a reference.
Okay.
It's not just any search results we are getting.
Okay. Yeah. I see. Okay. Now, what are some of the types of land ownership that we have in Ghana? Okay, you made mention, I think you said state and the rest.
Yeah.
But what about in terms of registration? What are the types of registration that are available?
Okay, so currently when you go to Accra, they have the land title registration. Eastern region, we have the deed registration. And I think Takoradi and Kumasi also have land title registration.
Are there any differences between them?
The difference has to do with the indenture mostly.
Okay, so we have the deed and then the land title, and it's mostly based on the region where you are
having your document done.
Registered.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I see. Now, in terms of land ownership, I've read somewhere that Ghanaians enjoy up to 99% of lease.
Sure. So currently, about 90 and over percentage of land in Ghana is owned through the leasehold.
Okay.
Only the allodial owners can actually declare or have a document that declares that it is their own. That one is a freehold land for them. But mostly for anyone buying, you are mostly going to meet a leasehold system.
Okay.
Yeah, for 99 years. That is when you're a Ghanaian.
Okay.
And when you're a foreigner, you're entitled to 50 years.
Only 50 years?
Only 50 years.
Really?
And renewal after that. So with the leasehold too, this is what happens. There are certain lands which were bought under leasehold systems and registered and given a time frame of ownership. Sometimes time may have elapsed on those lands. Mm-hmm. And when you are going to buy that land, that is when there is a need for you to conduct a search.
Okay.
So that you know the number of years left on the land you are actually buying. Okay. Because you could end up buying land thinking, oh, I'm owning this land for 99 years, but that might not be the case.
Okay, so from what you're saying means that since most land ownership are leasehold, it could be that someone might have purchased the land for about 50 years ago or maybe 20 years ago and was given the 99 years. So it means you who is going to buy from such person, you are not going to get up to 99 years. It means that you're getting the duration from when it was first purchased?
Sure, because the transfer wasn't from the allodial owners to you.
Okay.
It was from the allodial owners to someone, and that person is selling to you. So you should check that too.
I see, the lease period of the land.
Yeah.
I see. So you are saying that foreigners only enjoy up to 50 years. In a situation where people give 55 years, 60 years, 99 years, is it proper for foreigners?
Okay, so I think I may have left something out. The Lands Commission, I always say it's an institution put by the government to actually foresee the administration of land. So they have the power. So when you register and they give you the title, even though you bought from someone, the person couldn't give you the title or the deed.
Yeah.
They are going to actually give you the title.
Okay.
And if their laws are saying you are entitled to 50, and someone is able to convince you and tell you, assassin made that matuama where out there, over to me afa, literally meaning I've sold it to you, you can own it forever. That is between you and the one who sold it to you. Probably the lesser, the owner or whoever. But between you and Lands Commission, it might be a different ballgame. That is why you have to always comply to the Lands Commission, because in a way I see that they have the final say.
Yeah.
In a way, when it comes to land administration. So you should make sure everything you are doing conforms to what they also go by.
Okay.
The laws governing the lands of Ghana wasn't actually created by them.
Yeah.
They are only enforcing it. Yeah. So you should be wary of people who give, those promises. Yeah.
I see. So it means if you're a foreigner and you see that it's more than 50 years specified on the indenture,
you should
question it and then enforce or ensure that the right thing is done. Okay. Now, when one is going to register land, what are the things that the person needs to...
Okay, so if you want to register the land, first of all, you need a cadastral document.
Okay.
And a signed one.
Okay.
You can't send any cadastral document.
Okay.
And you should make sure the site plan you have is actually one that is specified by the Lands Commission. Okay. So that you have those documents, you send it there, you should add your passport size pictures. Normally they take 4.
Okay.
You add your ID. In Ghana, they request for the Ghana card.
Okay.
A photocopy of it. You add it to it. Then you are good to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
How long does it usually take to have lands registered?
Okay, that question, I think the Lands Commission boss should answer. Yeah.
But you dealing with situations like that, what's the shortest duration or the longest duration you've had been able to have land registered?
Longest can be forever. Forever, probably, let's say 2 years, 3 years, you can take up to. And I've seen lands being registered within a month.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I see. Interesting. Now, talking about making a part payment to when you're satisfied with the results and then you believe that whoever you're dealing with is the true owner, making a part payment, what means will you advise that people should use in making payment?
Payment should mostly be through a financial institution.
Okay.
Even if the money is on your Momo wallet and you send it, there is a record.
Okay.
When you send it to the bank too, there is a record.
Yeah.
But when you hand money to
cash,
then you should be ready to take pictures or have a hardcore evidence
to prove.
it.
Okay.
Yeah. So I would recommend you do a bank transfer.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. So usually when you go to a site or location to conduct a survey, what do you really do? Like, what are the processes you go through to finish whatever you went there to do?
Okay, so with that too, I think there are legalities to the job we do.
Okay.
It is always required that, if possible, you have both parties, the one who is selling the land and the one who is buying it. You have all of them on site.
Okay.
Just to make sure you are not stealing anyone's land.
Okay.
And after that, you should also make sure that even if you see a pillar, the one who contracted you or who is selling the land is the one who tells you, okay, this is the point.
Okay.
You don't actually go and
assume.
Okay. It is not done. Because you may end up getting a whole lot of issues.
Okay. So it means that you get both parties around or available.
If not both parties, at least one of the parties should be
okay.
At least.
To oversee whatever is being done.
But preferably, you should get the two parties.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
So once, let's say, both parties are there, what do you do? Do you take measurement, or what do you do first?
Okay, so there are certain jobs which requires measurement.
Okay.
And normally, we when it comes to documentations, we don't actually base so much on tape measurement, because it introduces a lot of errors. So we normally do or extract our measurement from the point or the coordinates we pick using the AutoCAD.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So I saw you had some devices. What devices are those?
That is the GPS we use for the survey.
What does it do?
Okay, so when I get to a site and I'm supposed to pick a coordinate here, and make sure the pole is fixed at that location.
Exact. Yeah, it should be exact location.
Exact, yeah. And you should also make sure your pole is leveled enough.
So you have like a level in there.
So it should be leveled.
Okay.
To make sure the coordinates you are picking is pointed
straight
to that point.
Okay.
Yeah. So after that you fix your machine, and there may be differences
in terms of the devices. Okay.
But one device you should not allow any surveyor to use for your cadastral document is the handheld GPS.
The handheld GPS
comes in like a
mobile
phone,
device.
A mobile device.
I think I've seen that before.
Yeah, because the accuracy with that is low. It could be up to 3 meters.
Okay.
So you could actually be picking a point here and it will throw you off.
3 meters.
So imagine it throwing you off 3 meters by, let's say, 1,000 feet.
Wow.
That's a whole lot. So you should ensure you use the right device.
Okay.
And that is also one thing the one contracting the person, should ensure.
Okay.
Just as I said, there are a lot of people portraying as surveyors,
but they actually are not.
Yeah.
So how do you determine that one is truly a good surveyor or a licensed surveyor?
Okay, so we have the Ghana Institute of Surveyors.
Okay.
It's a professional body that actually certifies surveyors. Even after schooling, they are supposed to make sure you have the right skills and knowledge with the work you are doing. So that is one way you should make sure or use to make sure you are dealing with the right person.
But do you have sort of like an ID or something?
Yes, we do have
IDs.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
That one can look at and tell that.
Yeah, and sometimes to the person's educational background. So you to contract and you ask the person, where did you actually train?
Yeah.
And they can't actually give you any good answers. They should
raise some flags.
Yeah, raise some flags. Because currently we have the survey school in Accra. They are one body or institution that trains surveyors. We have KNUST surveyors are also trained there. UMAT too, surveyors are trained there. Mostly that is what I know for now. I don't know of the others. Yeah.
Okay, I see. So once you get to the location, you fix this. So it collects data. And what happens to the data?
So with the machines, the modern ones, it has various mode of actually downloading your data. You can see this one has a Bluetooth.
Yeah.
And it also has a USB port, which can use to extract your data. So we do the extraction of data and we process it. We reference it to a base.
Okay.
So this is called a rover. There's actually a base set somewhere, and we reference to it, and we extract the data. We plot it using AutoCAD, and with that, you get all the details you need.
Okay.
And we include the ones the one buying will give us. That is your name, and sometimes we ask for the location from the client just to be sure.
Okay.
We put that also on it. So we have the district too on it, and we have the region in which the land is located. With that, we buy the regional number. That is a unique identity for any parcel of land in Ghana. Yeah.
So recently someone was asking me where from the barcode. Why is even the barcode?
Okay, so I said earlier that every parcel of land is supposed to have a unique identity.
Yeah.
And you know, we are in modern times, and there is a saying that every technology there is a backdoor.
Yeah.
So we make sure you are always ahead of time. So back then we were using the number system, which is the original number system. So in trying to go ahead of time, the barcode was introduced, so that as much as we can, not 100%, every piece of land or parcel, as we call it, will have a unique identity.
So it means that people were generating fake numbers by
that's
them.
what I heard.
Oh.
I didn't see it. It is alleged. Yeah.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
And so that's how come we have the barcode.
Yeah,
The barcode is actually everywhere in every region.
I learned Kumasi and Ashanti region. Kumasi, they are still practicing the old system.
So they are not.
But I know Greater Accra, Koforidua, or the Eastern region, they are into the barcode system. The rest, I don't know. I can't really tell.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I see. So when you go to the field, as you were saying earlier, you plot you pull your device on it, you collect the data, and you don't do any other thing on site, on the location. Do you do any other thing?
I think we do ask questions.
Okay.
So if it is a layout area, we ask where your access is, so that we will be able to show it on the Cadestra plan.
Okay.
So that is one thing we ask. Basically.
Access, is it access road or?
Access road.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, with regard to access road, is there any specific size that is required for access road for certain locations?
The size of your road mostly is determined by the real estate people.
Or whoever is selling the land?
Yes, because they contract people to do the demarcation for them. So you can actually tell. What I may use as my size may not be the same as someone else, but normally I use a 30 feet. That is for the normal access road, and the main ones I use 40, 50 feet if I'm supposed to do a demarcation.
I recently I think during one conversation we have, I think you got to a point that there was supposed to be a curve on one of the plots, and you did explain because of the road, because of the curve. Is that required or?
It is required. You see, the demarcation should not just be seen as something you are doing in the bush. You should project to see that in the future it's going to serve a lot.
Okay.
Regarding traffic movement and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we normally create a kink.
Okay. That is
just to help
curve.
Something like a curve in the corner.
Yeah.
To help motorists to negotiate curves easily and not to be blindsided. Because normally when you have a sharp corner and you may have to actually drive forward to see if
there's a car
coming on. But if you have the king, sometimes it helps with that.
So it means that if I'm purchasing a land size 70 by 100 feet and there's going to be an introduction of a king, I'm losing part of my land.
And the losing is actually also going to help you. So you are not actually losing it.
Okay.
Yeah, indirectly you are not losing it. Directly you are losing it.
I see.
Yeah.
What is the measurement, the official measurement in like taking land? Is it in feet, is it in meters? What is the measurement?
Okay, so we use the feet.
Okay.
We use the feet. So whatever measurements you see on the cadastral plan is in feet. But aside the distance, you also have the bearing on it. So you have to actually ask, because sometimes lay people would confuse the two. So you have to ask which one is the distance and which one is the bearing. Yeah.
Okay. That is on the document.
On the document.
That's the cadastral plan.
Sure.
It has that.
Yeah.
I see. Okay. I think probably run out of my questions now. Maybe this will be part one. In case there are many more questions, I'm sure after people are watching, they'll have a lot of questions in the comment section.
Yeah,
so
I think that would even make my work easier when it is a question based.
Yeah.
So that I know the right answers to give.
So I'm sure
with the land administration and industry, the questions can be 1 million and over.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if I get peculiar questions, then I answer to it accordingly. So
I'm sure certainly there will be a part 2 of this video.
Okay.
But anyway, I want you to share your contacts and what you do specifically when it comes to surveying, and then maybe people can reach out to you in case they have some work for you.
Okay.
Or before then, do you have any specific regions that you work, or you work across?
I work across.
Okay,
Yeah.
so any region at all within Ghana.
Yeah. So the contact is 0243578241. That is the contact. So with the job I do the normal Cadestra documentation. That is what I was just doing. I also do demarcation. I also do leveling or topo surveys, and I also do drone surveys. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, to create DEMs and all that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see. At your contact on WhatsApp.
Yeah, it's on WhatsApp.
Okay. So
Yeah.
because some people will be reaching out on
Sure.
WhatsApp and the rest. Okay. All right. So thank you very much, Eric, for this insightful information you've shared with us.
Okay.
I'm sure it's going to go a long way to help.
That is what I really want to help people. Yeah.
And in case you have any more questions, I'll definitely direct them to you, and then we can have a second video. So thank you very much.
Get the questions listed so I would answer accordingly to them.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.